Rapunzel. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, lived a man and his pregnant wife. They had wanted a baby for a long, long time, and were happy they were about to have one. The wife's belly started growing, and they started preparing for the little baby to arrive. She built it wooden toys. She sewed it baby clothes, and they painted its room in the most beautiful colors. One day, the wife noticed Rapunzel plants in the garden right next to theirs. She craved for them that day. She craved for them that night, and the next day she craved some more. The husband loved her more than anything in the world, and he wanted to see her smile. So he climbed over the tall wall into the garden and brought back a few plants for his wife. She was as happy as she could be, and she ate them, so he did it again the next night. But as it often happens, when you take without asking, this time the husband got caught. The enchantress whose plants he had stolen was mad and filled with wrath. He begged, and she said she'd forgive him if he gave her his unborn baby in return. Of course he didn't want to, for he loved that baby, but there was nothing he could do. Once the little girl was born, they kissed her goodbye, and the enchantress took her home. She named her Rapunzel, and Rapunzel grew into a beautiful girl with blue eyes and golden hair. The enchantress was jealous, so she locked her away in a tower with no doors nor stairs. There was only one small window in Rapunzel's room, and each day the enchantress came, she'd call out to the girl to let her long hair down, so she could climb up and see her again. One hot summer day, a handsome prince walked by the tall, dark tower. He heard a beautiful song and looked around, but could not see the girl who sang it. He fell in love with the voice, so he came back the next day and the day after that, and on and on. But the only thing he saw, a month or so later, was the enchantress and the long golden hair. He came back that evening, called out to Rapunzel, just like he'd seen the enchantress do.
Rapunzel!
He climbed up the golden locks, saw the beautiful girl, and asked her to be his wife. Rapunzel was scared of the enchantress, so she kissed him and asked him to leave. The prince did so, but he came back the next evening, and did so every evening since. The enchantress knew nothing for a long, long time, but one day she found out the truth. She cut off Rapunzel's hair and sent her out to the woods, and awaited in the small, dark room. That evening the prince climbed up the tower, but saw the enchantress there. She was filled with rage as she uttered the scariest words he'd ever heard. "You'll never see her again!" He wanted to find her, he wanted to see her, so he leaped through the window at once. The fall blinded him completely, but he got up and walked, for he had to search for his princess. He searched and searched, walking blind and alone, for months, and then for years. And one day he heard a song he knew, a song he had heard long, long ago. He ran towards the voice, and into his loved one's arms, her surprised tears healing his eyes. And the prince and Rapunzel, and their 2 little children, lived happily for the rest of their lives.